Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi guys, I am Syahri Dani and all of you can call me Ririt. I am student of Western University. My department is International Relations and now I'm undergoing the 7th semester. So in this video I would like to explain about the conflict between Israel and Palestine, and I want to explain also why Israel still exists until now in the Middle East. Well, actually I have a data about that. So I'm gonna explain this conflict by the historical background. So if we learn about the historical, we can know why the conflict was happened, right? So now I want to explain this history of Palestine began when the Ottoman dominates in the Palestine, because there are a lot of imperium at that time. There are Romawi, Egypt, Macedonia, and the Persian dominate in Palestine. But after Ottoman Imperium dominates until 1400 years later, so the Cold War I was booming. So I began to talk this issue by Cold War I was booming. Well, when the 1917s till 1914 till 1917s Christians, Cold War was booming, right? And then the Imperium of Ottoman was end at the time. So automatically Palestinians have been shared by the British and French. British colonialized the Palestine, and British colonized Palestine. The Declaration of Balfour was released that felt as the British support there is Israel state in the Palestine region. And next, January 1918, so all the region of Palestine have been dominated by the General Allenby from British Jewish background in the Al-Quds city, and he says the crusade now is end. So next, until the British mandate of Palestine was built in the Palestine, and then U.S. Congress support about the Israel state built in the Palestine, and next about the there are a lot of confrontation between Muslims Palestine and between Muslim Palestine and Israel at the time. Well, until United Nations give the resolution about the conflict, Act 1 would be two stage. The first one become an Arabic stage, and the second one become a Jewish stage. And then Jerusalem city would be in international status, especially. So Israel and Palestine cannot claim that Jerusalem is part of them. Till 14 May 1948, Zionism people declaring Israel is built, and a few minutes later the USA says their acknowledgement to the Israel state. Well, this is very funny. Next, till there are confrontation between Arab states like Egypt, Jordan, Lebanon, Iraq, Iran, and then we call it the first war between Arab states and Israel. So this is the history about the confrontation among countries around among countries in the Middle East. But the point is, from that confrontation, there are a lot of resolution from the United Nations. But okay, I wanna tell you some resolutions about the some resolution by United Nations to the conflict Israel and Palestine. The second one is about the Resolution 2255 about the Jerusalem status status international sorry being international status. So Palestine and Israel cannot claim that Israel is a part of them, but Israel always claimed that Jerusalem is a part of them. Even Israel claimed that Jerusalem is the capital city of Israel. So I think that Israel have been violate international law and these resolutions. Next, the resolutions against Zionism 3379. So actually this resolution was very controversial resolution because this has been recognized by the General Assembly of United Nations. On 10 November 1975, the resolution is acknowledged that Zionism is a part of racism. Okay, we have to underline, Zionism is a part of racism. This is United Nations states and this is resolutions. But because these resolutions, Israel Israel called it as anti-Jews. For those who make these resolutions, Israel called them as the hypocrite. Until the decision was supported 72 states and begins of 35 status. And however, at the 1991, the resolution was dropped out. This resolution was dropped out after Israel was applying a number of conditions. So Israel gave the number of conditions to the United Nations, and then United Nations delete the resolution. So this was obvious. There are a lot of something wrong in the United Nations. Why? Okay, I'm gonna explain later. The next resolution is about the resolution 4321, first Intifada. The next one is resolution Palestine acknowledgement in the United Nations 29 November 2012. So a lot of resolutions have been made by United Nations, but Israel never implemented that resolution and always violating international law. The big question in here is why international law and this resolution is lower to the Israel, but most powerful to the Palestinian. This is a big question. So we have to answer these questions by look at the historical background why Israel still exists until now. There are a lot of support, right, by the British and by the British and USA. And then who in the United Nations? There are five has veto right, including USA, UK, China, French, and Russia. So this is very obvious and clear for us why Israel cannot be agents by the United Nations, or why Israel most powerful now. So the answer is it's impossible if it's impossible for Israel if there is no actor behind them, even though non-stage or stage actor. I don't know. You can see the historical background. So it was a clear and obvious for us to analyze this. Who we know, right? The historical background I told you. There was UK and USA, and the UK and USA who have veto right in the United Nations. So every resolution have been given by the United Nations can be vetoed by two countries, these countries, UK and USA. So actually this is one of anomaly itself, because um, a lot of countries, a lot of Arab countries and Muslim countries around the world cannot against Israel, right? Because behind of Israel there is a USA and UK, and also United Nations, of course. A United Nations always talking about the peace, about the humanity, about the human right, about the violations, but never give the solution for the Israel and Palestinians. This is a clear for us. This is obvious for us. There are a lot of violation and violence of human rights in the Palestine, and have been did by the Israel, by the Zionism. Why United Nations still silent until now, or even never talk about the Israel and Palestine conflict? Just only talk about the environmental, about just about the humanitarian interventions, but never serious to give the resolution and penalty for Israel. The answer is because Israel is a friend of UK and USA. UK and USA has a national interest in the Middle East countries. What is that? Now we can see that USA has a power, has a military in there, and then want to get a lot of oil. And then UK also, something like that. So now we are going to give the solutions as the international society, right? In the name of human right, in the name of humanitarian, we have to look back the historic. We have to see the future of Palestinians, right? So actually I have a proposal solutions about that conflict, but I give this solution is not about the Israel and Palestine have to separate it. No, because I think the most important thing that we have to think together is how to stop violation in there, how to stop violations, and reduce victims of the violation between Israel and Palestine. So many victims on Palestinians, right? So the first one is United Nations have to more powerful agents to stop violation in there. United Nations have to give the resolution for Israel, especially for Israel, about the stop the conflict in there, stop the violation in there, stop the violation of human rights in there. If Israel don't want to implementing that resolution, United Nations has to give the penalties or sanction to the Israel, right? Because United Nations have a power in this conflict, right? If United Nations cannot against and then to stop the violation in there because of Israel, because Israel is a friend of USA, yeah, this is one of the problem in the United Nations, I think. So the second my proposal solution is losing veto right in the United Nations. Even though they were won, they were winner at the time the Second World War, but the veto right actually making the problems around the world, because there are 5 most powerful countries in the United Nations, and you know, a lot of countries, every country want to get their national interests. So these 5 countries has a veto right, want to get their national interests. So this is a problem, I think, in the United Nations. Okay, I think that's all. So thank you so much for watching this video. video, but don't be as seriously, because I think this is one of the what we call, this is one of my homework. So a lot of my statement actually uh, actually is not hoax, because I have a data like this and on my phone about the conflict. Well, thank you so much. Assalamualaikum.